dry vegetation, the lack of rainwater, and a contributing factor to wildfires. A drought is a very serious issue that isn't taken lightly throughout the world. California and its citizens have suffered the repercussions for decades, and it was declared by scientists not too long ago that we've been officially out of the drought on March 5th, 2019. Well, this is relieving at the moment, and our state, along with local water restrictions currently in place, CSUN, along with several other organizations, are still assembling countermeasures and procedures to ensure that we are helping the environment, animals, and crops for this generation and the next. A critical example of this was the almost non-existent water supply the San Joaquin Valley had endured at one point. As we speak, Australia is going through a far more severe drought crisis. How has this come about? Who and what does it affect? What can we do? Our group was given the opportunity to explain this issue to you, the people, and what you can do to help combat possible droughts in the near future, not just for our homes, but for the planet as well. With that being said, let us dive in and elaborate on the effects a drought can bring for us all.
A drought is a prolonged period of low rainfall leading to a shortage of water. California has been in a drought since the year 2000. For 2 decades now, Californians have suffered from this drought. A persistent ridge of high pressure has taken up residence in the eastern Pacific, and it shows no sign of budging. It is diverting storms into the Pacific Northwest region, which means more dry weather for California. Though the fundamental definition of a drought means a prolonged season of no rainfall leading to water shortage, there are multiple factors that can contribute to a drought. 2 reasons are climate change and global warming. These cause a rise in temperatures to generally make wet regions more wet and dry regions more dry. For more wet regions, warm air absorbs more water, leading to larger rain events. But in more arid regions, warmer temperatures mean water evaporates more quickly. In addition, climate change alters large-scale atmospheric circulation patterns, which can shift storm tracks off their typical paths. This, in turn, can magnify weather extremes, which is one reason why climate models predict the already parched U.S. Southwest shall remain dry. So the more climate change continues to affect the planet, the more rainless conditions we can expect in California. In our modern world, a drought often indicates an excess demand for water. For California specifically, the rising population in Los Angeles has created a demand for a seemingly eternal supply of water. The city of LA alone uses approximately 524 million gallons of water per year. In short, we are going through water more than the planet is capable of supplying.
So how does a drought affect wildlife? Droughts also affect the environment in many different ways. Plants and animals depend on water just like people. When a drought occurs, their food supply can shrink and their habitat can be damaged. Sometimes the damage is only temporary and their habitat and food supply return to normal when the drought is over. But, sometimes the drought can impact the environment so bad it can last a long time or even forever, which sucks. Examples of environment impacts, show like losses or destruction of fish and wildlife habitat, lack of food and drinking water for wild animals, increase in disease in wild animals because of reduced water and food supplies, migration of wildlife, increased stress in endangered species or even extinction. What else? Loss of wetlands, more wildfires, wind and water erosion of soils, and even poor soil quality.
As you can see here, I have a chart of the progression of the California drought. This chart was made about 5 years ago, in 2015, and if you look at the bottom, you can see that it's color-coded, from yellow, being at normally dry, to dark red, being exceptionally dry. It starts off not too bad, there's some yellow spots here and there, but then in the next year, the map is covered entirely in yellow. with some dark spots, some dark yellow spots there. It stays like that for a while, but then in the next year, the map is completely red, and a huge portion of it has the dark red, meaning that it's exceptionally dry. Then in the next one, the dark red starts to spread across downwards and upwards. This is all happening in an alarming rate, and it's causing damage to our ecosystem, landscape, and causing wildfires.
Governor Jerry Brown called to combat the drought conditions over the past few years from the California drought, and CSUN has answered to combat the California drought by making campus a more water-efficient place. They are doing so by reducing water by 16% as a goal, and then they are doing this by turning off irrigation systems off and using drought-tolerant landscapes, reaching the 16% goal from CSUN's plan. CSUN Plant Management shuts off irrigation to 100 acres on campus. Irrigation system has also seen significant decreases from this. Also at Oviatt Lawn near the library, hydrogel gel was injected under the grass, helping conserve water, 50 to 70% decrease from consumption of water. There has been also other projects that have been finished on campus, including turf removal and drought-tolerant plant installations at Plummer Street, Etowanda Street, Matador Drive, Playfield Landscaping, Redwood Hall, Arbor Court, Plummer and Lindley, and at the USU Rec Field, artificial turf field, zero water used for irrigation, and at the parking lots, trees have been replaced with drought-tolerant trees that require no irrigation. Aquasense hydrogel injection was done on the east field. Estimated water savings are 2.8 million gallons annually, and at the urinals in the men's bathrooms, all campus urinals have been replaced with waterless or ultra-low flow urinals. And irrigation system upgrades, installation, flow sensors, meter valves, and enabling weather-based scheduling. And finally, public awareness signage installed in every restroom.
Students' actions play an integral role for change. Me and my renowned team members decided to take initiative and walk around campus to find out what exactly positive contributions have the students of Cal State Northridge been doing to reduce wastewater.
My name's Kaden. My name's Omar. And how I save water is when I brush my teeth, I turn the water off when I'm scrubbing, and I turn it back on when I rinse my mouth out. I'll say really, when it's my turn to do the dishes, I'll just get the little sponge, get it all soapy, turn the water off, scrub the dishes, and then when it's time to rinse, then turn it back on, just rinse, so I don't get the water running the whole time. Yeah.
Perfect.
Save the earth.
Yes.
Save the koalas.
So I live in a rural area.
Let's say your name first.
Oh,
Sorry.
My name's Yadira Conchas, and I live in a rural area, so I have no choice but to conserve water. We have to have like a water truck guy come in to fill up our tank, and so unless you're really conservative with it, you risk running out of water. So shorter showers, you don't really water the plants. You just gotta be very picky with how you use your water.
Perfect. Okay.